Okay, so we saw one of the worst calls I've ever seen covering football now for 3 years. I know that's a pretty high bar to clear. I think it's warranted because what's going to happen is I paused it right here. You probably saw the play, but let me just show it to you in case you didn't. Look at the tight end who's pulling over. He's going to, make a block here, which allows Taysom Hill to throw the ball down the field. Now let's reverse and let's talk about why it was called in the first place. What this is, you might be wondering, what was even the penalty here? The penalty was a blindside block. Now, I've noticed a lot of people are actually pretty confused about what a blindside block actually is. I think it's poorly named because the blindside aspect isn't necessary. You can get called for a blindside block even if the opposing player saw it coming. This is what it says in the rule book. The rule is written that an illegal blindside block is if a player initiates a block in which he is moving towards or parallel his own end line and makes forcible contact to his opponent with his helmet, forearm, or shoulder. So reading that, you might think, okay, well, that actually kind of makes some sense as to why it was called that way. Look, the play again, you're going to see he was, in fact, moving backwards. There's almost no denying that, in fact. It also most certainly was, in fact, forcible contact. So all that checks out. Although, of course, clearly it's not in the spirit of the rule, right? Something like this is much more of what you expect from like a blindside block. It's like, okay, yeah, that should probably get taken out of the game. This, not so much. It's just kind of one of those weird loopholes in the rule that they should close up, correct? Well, no, because they actually have closed it up. It specifically states in the NFL rule book that if it happens in this area, it's not considered an illegal blindside block because, otherwise it just doesn't make any sense. So this is just straight up missing a call. This isn't even like you saw something and it was wrong. This is just like not knowing the rules, basically, is unless there's some other explanation for it. That's the only way I can think of it. Like, this is, to me, this is the equivalent of like there being an intentional grounding inside the end zone, but they only, they let him get the ball back at the 1 yard line because they don't realize that's supposed to be a safety. Like, it's that level of just screwing up, quite frankly. I mean, that's how I see it. Just shouldn't have happened. Absolutely brutal. But luckily, it's not like the Saints have a history of getting screwed over by calls, so at least they have that going for them.